Hello, hello, hello. Welcome one and all. This is Drawing Expressions live streaming on YouTube. I'm Parz, who didn't adjust his seat until just now. Hey, how you doing? I'm glad to be here. It's been a couple of weeks. It's been a couple of weeks. Let's face it, 2025. I don't know what we did to 2025, but oh boy. Sorry. Just stop, please. Anyway. So just a quick thing here before I start to get into the fun part, the creative writing part. First off, the reason I wasn't here last week is one of our cats, Melee, she was quite ill and recovering nicely now. I almost wasn't here because our other female Maine Coon, Rory, has come down with whatever it is that Melee had, so she's been in terrible pain. But under vet's care, and she has started her recovery. So, but I'm dressed more just in case I need to take off if Rory needs something. The live stream will end, and she will take precedence over everything. So, just so we're aware, because this is live stream, it's live. Things happen. I don't do this as a recording, so I don't just slice things out and then, post it up wherever. So it just, whatever happens, happens. Okay, so with that bit said, oops, that side, I just wanted to point out as well that I have changed up our little dudes in the background a little bit. I had them, the figures with the hands open and the little figurines with the arms open to indicate welcomeness and openness and whatnot. And if you notice, this time the figurines, their elbows are up. And this is direct reference to Elbows Up, a meme that is making its way throughout Canada. Hockey term, protect yourself. And so that's what that is. So it's the elbows up for the Canadians, but still very open and welcoming, and allowing everyone to come in and just take some time off from all the stuff that's going on personally and in the world and everything in between. And that's really why I finally decided to be here, because this to me is important, and it's part of my self-care. So that's why I'm here, and I hope you are here for much the same reason, to be creative, a little bit of self-care, a little bit of an art date with yourself. And with all that said, let's get into the stuff. Okay, so things to know, and the thing always to know: art date, writing date, creative date, all that. Guidelines bend, rules break, and that is why we operate here on guidelines. So no further explanation needed. Just take everything with a grain of salt. If it works, doesn't work. And I just said no explanation needed, and I just went and explained it some more. So another guideline. Okay, class structure for the planners and the pantsers. So the planners today, we are doing limericks, and we'll get more into that in just a moment. But just know that there is more to limericks than just simply there once was a man from Nantucket. There's a lot more to it than that. So we'll get into that. And then in the pantser section, we're going to talk about sort of a little bit of my journaling journey. Something that I've only just discovered, and I'll talk about it a little bit, and a little bit of a show and tell. So yeah, that's going to be that bit. So let us get into the creative state of mind and body and spirit and all that kind of good stuff with a bit of stretching and a bit of breathing. So I'm going to invite you to take a nice deep breath in with me now. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Big breath in. And stretch. Good. Ah, that feels good. Okay. So, yeah, limericks. So I prepped this class on Thursdays, and Miss Rory, she got sick on Saturday. So, excuse me. The prep, I think, is pretty good. The execution today may be a little bit distracted, but we're going to try and get through it. Anyways, so limericks. So with help from Wikipedia and poets.org. So yeah, so limericks, they're a thing. Let me just check out my notes here real quick, see if there's things to share. And there are. So just get this 1 second. Get the screen set up. Here we go. Okay. And I'm just gonna, there we go. And now I can share my screen. So traditionally, from the early 18th century, limericks are meant to shock, to break taboos, and to be obscene. Think about things that are funny when you're drunk. So the if you go to Wikipedia, actually, there's a really nice explanation about the development of limericks and where they came from. Part of limericks is it's like again, it's like think drunk people and drunk. You know, because Limerick is in Ireland, and so, you know, think that kind of thing, that kind of scene, where people are in the bar having a good time, and they are just kind of saying, you know, these Limerick poems just to make drunk people laugh. And then oftentimes there would be like a singing refrain. So the Limerick would actually have, you know, a pattern, right, to it. We're going to talk about that in a second. And then you'd have the refrain, and then it would just keep going. And so, you know, it'd go around the room. You know, these are types of things that happen in like the Irish pubs, right? Where a visitor shows up and they tell a story or whatever, along with all the locals, right? To make the night, interesting. And it's not just about drinking. Right? You imbibe, sorry, ice in my mouth. You imbibe, and just to help pass the time, entertain yourselves during this evening time. Okay, so let's come back to my notes. So in form, it rhymes. It's an AABBA rhyme, which means that the first, the second, and the fifth stanza rhyme, and then the third and fourth, they rhyme to themselves, internal rhyme. And there is there's a flow to a limerick, right? Because it's very lyrical. And if you look it up in Wikipedia, there is all sorts of terms and definitions of all these different rhyming. It's not just rhyming schemes, but rhythmic schemes. And I tried to make sense of it, and my poor brain just went, just write it so it makes sense. And like, so if it flows as you write your limerick, great. And if it doesn't, that's fine too, because we're not going to be auditioning this in an Irish pub. It's just between you and me, right? And then like I said, its origins are in the 18th century, early 18th century. So that's the early 1700s. And here we are in 2025. So that's 200 to 300 years worth of time that this art form has been around. So that means there's been plenty of time for people to break the rules right? So now we're getting into bending the guidelines into all these various odd things. And so you can have plays on limericks, and that has actually become now another thing, right? And so you have more traditional styles, you have more rule-breaking styles, and you can just sort of play with this thing. The bottom line is that whatever you do in a limerick, either you're following the rules, so you're following the guidelines, or you're breaking them or bending them. And whatever you do is perfectly fine, so long as you just say, yeah, it's more traditional, or yeah, it's more modern. Okay, and then off you go. Again, we're not trying to fit it into a limerick refrain inside of an Irish pub. Okay, so I found these on these are on off of Wikipedia. There we go. There's my screen. So the limerick packs laughs anatomical into space that is quite economical, but the good ones I've seen so seldom are clean, and the clean ones so seldom are comical. Right? So this is more of a traditional look at things. That was attributed to an unknown person. This next one is actually on a plaque in front of Limerick Ireland City Hall. So the limerick is furtive and mean. You must keep her in close quarantine, or she sneaks up to the slums and promptly becomes disorderly, drunk, and obscene. Again, more of the traditional look at limericks. Whoops. Come on. Got a thing here that I'm sliding around. Okay. So in the rhythmic form, traditional form of a limerick, here we go. We have, you can see, actually, let's see if I can blow this up just a little bit. Nope. Okay, actually, if I go like that. There we go. So we have lines 1 through 5, and the dashes are short, and the slashes are long. So the D, 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 D. There once was a man from Nantucket. And then the rest of it goes on. But that's the form. So actually, that's why one of the reasons why there once was a man from Nantucket is so popular, because it fits into the rhyming scheme. It fits into that lyrical thing. And so when we do our limericks, we're going to want to fit into that kind of rhythmic feel as well. But if you don't achieve it, that's okay, because it's now more modern, right? Guidelines. And as I was saying, we can have things that play with the rules, play with the guidelines. So there was an old man of St. Bees who was stung in the arm by a wasp. When asked, does it hurt? He replied, no, it doesn't. I'm so glad it wasn't a hornet. Right? We're just playing with it. Your brain's expecting things, and it's just not getting it, so that you get that. You can have this one here. There was an old man with a beard, a funny old man with a beard. He had a big beard, a great big old beard, that amusing old man with a beard. Who says you can't just rhyme the same word over and over and over again? And then this last one here, this just got my math geek just so happy. Okay. So there's the little equation, and it reads a dozen, a gross, and a score, plus 3 times the square root of 4, divided by 7, plus 5 times 11 is 9 squared and not a bit more. And that's just awesome. I just love the fact that you've got this little mathematical equation, and it forms out to be a limerick. Yay. Okay. So what are we going to do with these limericks? Well, I'm going to invite you to write some limericks. Now that we've talked about what limericks are, where they come from, and it can be a little bit tough, right? Because one of the things that I found in preparing for this class is when I did my talks about haiku are really very simple, right? Very few words, and they're trying to evoke something very big and spacious, some concept, some event, some feeling, something profound, right? And it's just, you get that feeling to it. And limericks are sort of the other. They are just like, they're fun and they're lyrical and they don't really mean a whole lot of anything except they're just supposed to make you laugh. And what can we write them on? Well, we can write them on anything. And so I'm going to share out some limericks that I wrote in preparation for this, and I'll see if I can come up with a limerick or two on the fly as well. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to come over here to the sharing my screen. There we go. All right. So we know our limerick form. We know what it is that we're trying to accomplish. So I sat as I was beginning to prepare for the class, and I was like, okay, what do I want to write about? And I don't necessarily want my limericks to be filthy. I don't really want them to be in that form of "There once was a man from Nantucket." I didn't want to go there. But I do want them to be humorous, at least to me. So I was sitting, and I had a cat by my side. Actually, it was Melee. So, and she's the one who's recovering from being in pain. Whoops, let's get rid of that. And so that's really where I started. Okay. So with book in my lap as I sit, and try to dredge up some wit. And I'll move this in a little bit just to show that it's the shorter lines. While my cat barks demands. And if you heard her talk, she doesn't meow. It's so it's the most cat-like bark you will ever hear. While my cat barks demands, requiring both of my hands, which is how I wrote this bit. And I can make this a little bit more lyrical, but yeah, with the cat next to me just demanding scrunches with both hands, this is what I came up with. With book in my lap as I sit and try to dredge up some wit, while my cat barks demands, requiring both of my hands. This is how, actually here, this is how I ended up. This is how I ended up with this bit. There we go. It's a bit more of a fits the "this is how I ended up with this bit." And that's, yeah, there we go. So there's our limerick for the the demanding cat lyric, or the limerick, demanding cat limerick. So this is an example. Let's do one more. Let's do one more on this because I've got it right here. There once was a cat, because the cat was still there, was a cat on the couch who apparently was, who apparently is feeling quite the grouch. She sat on my lap, needing this and that, while I grimaced and yelled, "Whoops, ouch!" And let's get there we go. grimaced. What is wrong with that? Oh, 1M. Okay. There we go. So she didn't really, but this is here. We can start to make stuff up as well. You know, but we start with the prompt of the cat is next to me and she does like to knead. And so I just said, what happens if she goes into my lap? And can I make it just a little bit of a reference to something obscene? Yeah, kneading this and that. So there we go. Okay. I keep getting ice when I drink. Sorry about that. Okay. So what I'm going to invite you to do, so now we've done I've shown a couple of examples of just how to make up a limerick. Let's just take a moment and look around us and think about what is here, what's in front of us, what's next to us, what am I thinking about, what's going on, and can I start to put some things down that will help me express what I'm feeling. And I can do it in sort of a, you know, maybe a little bit of a racy way, a little bit of a dirty way. That's fine, right? Because limericks, it's intended to be obscene, so you can make these references and things, and you don't ever have to share them with anyone. You can just sort of giggle quietly to yourself and like, I can't believe I said that. You can do that. Okay, so I'm just gonna come back over to here. So I'm gonna think about what is it that is going on. Yeah, so well, I've got a sick cat currently who's actually, excuse me, hiding away in the washroom. So how about if I make some mention? Let's see if we can, whoops, not that button, it's this button. Let's give myself some space. There we go, on the next line, or next page. Okay. Sorry about that. Clicking things I shouldn't be clicking on. Okay, I'm gonna come back to share my screen. Okay, so my cat is hiding in the washroom. My cat is hiding my cat is hiding out from us all. But not because she suffered a fall. The poor thing's in pain. So the poor thing's in pain. Rain, stain, fame. What rhymes with pain? See, this is where we start to have to figure out where our rhyming goes. And it can help take our mind off of things that are, or generate like a reframing of things. Okay, so the poor thing's in pain. Tears fall like rain, because it is upsetting for us when she's in pain, and I can refer back to me. Grain. Tears fall like rain. I can't wait for when she's able to come to my call. So when I call out to her, she's able to come out of a room or whatever. And yeah, that last line's a bit long. That's okay, because we can always clean it up on edit. And really, this is just between us, right? My cat is hiding out from us all, but not because she suffered a fall. The poor thing's in pain. Tears fall like rain. I can't wait for when she's able to come to my call. And I'm just going to leave that one at that. Um, yeah, Rory. Yeah. Um, so, okay, so I'm going to take a minute now. I'm going to pause and I'm going to provide a space for you to kind of think about how do I want to write a haiku, or not a haiku, a limerick. How do I want to write a limerick? What do I want to cover? Finding, easy rhyming words for, 1, 2, and 5 lines, 1, 2, and 5, and then easy ones for 3 and 4, like what I just did here. And it doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be amazing. It doesn't have to, you don't have to be ready to sing it in an Irish pub. It can just be a thing that you just write about yourself, right? Or about your surroundings, your situations, whatever. Okay, so I'm just going to take a second here. Okay. Grab your tequila. Figured it'd be more like an Irish whiskey. But yeah. Okay. I'm gonna write one more. And this is gonna reference when my feelings when I go to one of our indoor malls here at the in Chiang Mai. So let's see now here. On those days when I go to the mall, indoor stores lining, echoing all, each with music blaring, always leaves me declaring I'd rather be banging my head against a wall. So yeah, so that's my experience of malls for the most part, at least here. On those days when I go to the mall, indoor stores lining echoing hall, each with music blaring, always leaves me declaring I'd rather be banging. I want banging my head against a wall. So there we go. That is the essence of limericks. So with that, I think I'm gonna close up this bit. I know I didn't leave a whole lot of space for people to do their own limericks. I'm hoping I've more planted a seed. I'm hoping that maybe in between all of my jibber jabber, you had the opportunity to at least think about something that you'd like to write as a limerick, even if you didn't actually do it. But if you did, drop it in chat or drop it into the comments if you're catching this on replay, because that'd be kind of cool. I'd like to see what it is that you do. And with that said, I'm going to bring us over to Breathe and Stretch, where I'm going to invite you to take a nice deep breath with me. Here we go. And a little bit of a stretch. There we go. Get the shoulders, maybe do the hands. It's been a while since I've done nice hand stretch. So when I do my hand stretch, I put my thumb behind my palm and I just put my fingers down on top of my fingers and just a little bit of a stretch. Wonderful forearm stretch. Here we go. Which, when you're typing, is one of those things where it's, the digits get tired. And that leads us to what it is that I have started doing in these crazy, crazy days of 2025, which is journaling. and journaling longhand. It's yeah, it's cool. I'm shocked that about what's experiencing and what's been going on. So up until just it'd been like a week, I guess, that I started it. So this has not been a long-term thing. I've only just started, and let's face it, the sick cat has sort of precluded the brain from thinking journaling here for a couple of days. But what it is that I've been doing, I've got my stuff right here, is nice gray journal, and I just start to write. So and it's in code, which means my handwriting. You can't read it because I can barely read it. The whole idea for me is, it's not, I don't do this in the morning, or not first thing upon waking. It's not like morning pages or anything like that. This is something where I've gotten through sort of my morning stuff, and I have a morning routine. I have coffee with Alicia, and we take, feed the cats, shower, and all that kind of stuff. Really just get my brain engaged on the day and get all the things done that need to be done in the morning. And then I can sort of sit down, and there's like this, it's almost like transition period between the stuff that needs to be done in the house in the morning, and moving into whatever it is that I'm going to do in the afternoon, which is oftentimes, whether it's just allowing myself some time to think, or playing video games, or whatever. There's that workspace that's in there, and I've started filling that, I have started starting that process with what I call my brain puke journal. And so I just freely write. And it doesn't take very long. The few times that I've written, the most I have written in a go has been one page, the front of one page. Yeah, I just write until I'm done, and it can just kind of go anywhere. So just 1 second, bit of a drink. So, and it can go anywhere. It's very pantser. Excuse me, ice again. It's very pantser. It doesn't really matter what is going on at that moment. I sit down and start to write, and then my attention is just caught by a thing, and I just start writing, and it just kind of goes and flows and whatever. My most recent, let's see here. Yeah, my most recent one, I date them. And so it was, March 6th, 2025. And I caught on to the fact that I'm dating each one with the year. And I just started to make fun of myself that I felt the need to put down the year every single time. And then that led to other things. And it just ran for a little while. And then my brain just said, yeah, I'm done. I'm done puking onto the page. I'm ready for other stuff. And it's great. It just allows a lot of junk just to get thrown onto the page. It gets acknowledged, and then it goes away. And then I've got space for more creative thinking, space for more organized thinking. So for my creative thinking, here is there's my prepared limericks, and class discussions go into here. Little things that I've written down. There's a whole page with just one sentence on it, like within a labyrinth, the landscape changes, but the path is the same. Will it ever go somewhere? Maybe, maybe not. I recently read something that Lewis Carroll, so he did the Through the Looking Glass and Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I got the title a little bit wrong, I think, there, but anyways, Alice in Wonderland, there we go. He was talking about how when he writes, he's dead now, long dead. But when he was writing, he would find that a lot of the stuff that he would end up publishing, it would be because he had written something years prior, but just held on to it. He hadn't deleted it. He hadn't let go of it. And so he could come back to it at some point, and there it was. And so I've got this, the little page just sort of waiting for me to come back to it at some point, or not. Doesn't really matter. But the great thing about writing longhand in a journal, as opposed to writing digitally, is digitally it's so easy. Just to, like, you open a file thing, and then it gets lost, right? It gets lost in the files, or it gets misnamed, or it gets corrupted. All sorts of things can happen to these digital things, and it's really, really tempting just to kind of like, you highlight it and then delete, and boom, it's gone. And then so you just like kind of clean it out. This, it's here, and I write in ink, so I don't erase, I just cross out. So even the crossouts are still there. And I like that, right? So I can go back and just, like, even, it's going to be hard to see, but there's crossouts and notations and things that are there. And so all the work is still there. So as I'm putting it up, I almost have like, several drafts worth of work in these crossouts. And my pencil case, courtesy of my lovely lady love, which holds now not just my roller balls, I think they are, oh God, I forgot the name. Anyways, I've got a couple of roller balls, and then I've got some gel pens for color, so I can make notations and things in different colors, and it's very helpful to have that. So that is my creative journal, and then I have this one, quite bright, and this is my to-do, and you can see that there's color that, whoops, starts to go in here. With the little tick marks and things, and then I can get things noted and whatnot. And again, it's longhand. I don't tend to use it for things that are like of a daily nature, or if I'm remembering stuff, like I don't need to put down that I need to take the trash out twice a week. That is a sort of an automatic thing. But my to-dos and whatnot, that's where those are now going. And having it longhand, it seems to help me to remember that they're there, and I can engage with it a little bit deeper. So I made a small list. So the advantages of writing longhand. So I can write in various angles. I don't have to use the ruler lines. Right? I can make it big, small. I can use various odd colors, various odd sizes. I don't have to sit there and play with a text editor to make things look the way I want them to. I can make notations, I can keep notes, and then the journals themselves, I close them up, and then they can get stored away, or they can come back out. I can always go back and re-look at things. There are some detriments. Number one, trying to read my writing, right? Trying to break the code that I inadvertently put into my journal each and every time my pen touches page. It's one of those things where I haven't done a lot of longhand writing in a long, long time. And so I'm having to more or less reteach myself how to hold the pen and how to, write and get my endurance up. So that my hand is more comfortable, because it's been typing away on the keyboard for a very long time. And also getting the size right? Getting your, like, these are B5 journals. I do have an A5, and this was a lovely size for me for a long time. But in getting the B5, I've realized that it's the B5 just affords just a bit more space, but it's not too much. And so, yeah, so I very much like my B5 journals. And so I would encourage that if you go to start writing things longhand, look for something that works for you, and a size that's going to work for you. And maybe start with a A5 or a B5. I don't think you can go wrong either way. yeah, and so that is my journaling journey, and it does help on those days when things are really hard, and like you discover your cat just in pain, writhing, and is there a chance that you're going to journal that day? Probably not, because that's already a big day, and it just sort of reverberates throughout the day, and it becomes hard to open yourself up and be creative and think creative things. It's just like, no, I'm focused on my sick cat and all the things I need to do in order to make sure that she is as safe and healthy as possible in that moment. But in those times when, you know, the DEF CON has dropped a little bit, and then you've got some space to think and some space to work, go ahead and just drop some thoughts into your brain puke journal. Allow things just to get out. Allow your fear to get out. Allow your pain to get out. Allow whatever it is, you know, miscellaneous topics. This discussion where it starts in one place, it ends up in another place, and it hits 3 or 4 completely unrelated things along the way. That could be your junk journal. It works. And then you can be more productive as I'm touching it, and you can't see as I'm showing, you know, boom, you know, my journals. You can be more creative. You can be more organized. You can be more, because you've gotten all of that initial stuff out of the way. Anyway, I hope that made some semblance of sense. And I know I'm rambling, because my little girl, yeah, she's in pain. And my other one is recovering, and my other one who is monitoring chat. Yeah. So anyway, a lot of stuff going on, and yeah. So journaling and doing stuff like this, it all helps me, and I hope in some way that's going to help you too. Okay. With that all said, I am going to close things up before I embarrass myself. Love you too, sweetie. Before I inadvertently kind of just go off the rails. So let's come down to my haiku. Here we go. Okay. This is the drawingXpressions haiku. It's creative space. Holistically supportive. Please like, share, subscribe. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe you know someone who would enjoy content like this that would, you know, benefit. I don't know. Maybe not. But yeah, invite them in. Love to hear from more creative people. See what it is that you're doing out there, and yeah. All that. And speaking of hearing more about everyone and what everyone's doing, if you do share on social media, there's the hashtag DXLive with Parz. It's been a while since I've gone looking, because it's been a couple of weeks. I will try to get back into the habit of looking stuff and commenting and saying hey to anyone who tags their stuff with the hashtag. And with that, let's just come back to here. Thank you so much for making this a part of your creative journey. Thank you for listening to me ramble for a little bit. Yeah, take care of yourselves, take care of those that you love, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.